not think the card is Snapcaster Mage, but I think it's going to show up in plenty of decks. The fact that you can just kill it with Lightning Bolt and Abrupt Decay and move on with life makes it an entirely different animal than something like Snapcaster Mage, which is pretty much pure value at any stage of the game.
Mana Accelerant is how these players are going to start. Mize with a Razorverge Stick into a Bird's Paradise. Ache with a Noble Hierarch. Off of a Temple Garden that was found via Wooded Foothills as our last round of Swiss action is underway. 2 Collected Company decks will do battle here. For Mize, if he wins, he's into the top 8. If Ache win or lose, he's into the top 8. It's all about seeding for him.
And I like this matchup from Logan's side of the table here. Both these decks are doing a lot of the similar stuff, but Logan has a combo kill rolled into the deck, which, and either side of it, either infinite damage or infinite life, is good enough to beat Albert. And I think Logan's deck is just much better at uglying up the game. Like, when things slow down, he has more cards like Kitchen Finks, Gavany Township, Eternal Witness that are just very well suited to play a game like this, whereas Albert has more cards like Loxodon Smiter and Wild Nacatl, which can get invalidated as the game progresses.
Spellskite Wall of Roots. That was the turn there from Mize, on with the Gavany Township. Ache does have a Wild Nacatl in hand, but you can just see how Wild Nacatl lines up on this board.
Exactly. And Gavany Township is an incredible weapon in this matchup as well for Logan. Even on this board, Logan can just start activating the Township, and it's going to be really hard for Albert to make progress on the ground. At that point, he has to do something pretty crazy with Knight of the Reliquary to be able to proceed, because all of his other threats don't do very much.
Sacred Founder Gun in the battlefield untap. That's going to be Nacatl into a 3-power creature. And now here is a Path to Exile to get Spellskite off the battlefield. Not the best use of Path to Exile, but it's just a necessary one.
He's got to do it, but, you know, with Gavany Township in play, Logan's, needs and utility for mana, it gets to be close to unlimited. I mean, he can cast spells and use Township in the same turn. If he draws a second Township, he starts approaching being able to activate that. So even with all the mana in play, Logan is very happy to get Path in spots like this. He's got plenty to do.
He'll get a Plains. But Ache's got a lot to work through here, so we'll see what Mize's hand looks like as we make our way through his 3rd turn of the game. Mize will draw a card. Ah, there's that famous Logan Mize rub of the card before he draws it. Saw a lot of that in Chicago when he got 2nd place at that Open Series event. Curious if he has a card like Collected Company in hand just yet. There's Malira. And one thing Ache's deck can't beat, it's the Infinite Life Gain combo.
Yeah, either side of the Infinite combo is good. Damage or life gain, both result in victories.
And Mize has a lot of ways to get to it with all these Chords of Callings, Collected Companies, Eternal Witness to get back the pieces. It's not too tough for him to accomplish. It does take some time.
And honestly, he doesn't even have to accomplish it. That's why I think the matchup is so solid for him, is he can just play a game of blockers in Gavany Township. If he happens to assemble an infinite combo, that's good, and he can win the game on the spot, but it's not a requirement.
Wild Nacatl is attacking for 5 right now, 2 Exalted triggers. Well, you're going to go on chump blocking duty. And part of the reason Mize is able to do this again because he has 4 copies of Eternal Witness in his deck, so he can chump block now, witness that back, move forward accordingly. Mize has at least 1 witness in hand, a couple of lands too, but it looks like he's gearing up for a little bit of a longer game to maybe go towards the Township activations.
I mean, Albert passing the turn here, probably a sign of Collected Company. But if Albert is attacking with a bunch of creatures all at once, Gavany Township and a sea of blockers probably contains it. And if Albert is attacking one at a time, Logan can chump block for a very long time with most of his draws.
Well, it looks like it's going to get a counter. Though, Mize is trying to figure out how he wants to navigate through this turn. It's another Malira. That makes the first one very expendable. Winslow Teeth is the land. Mize will pass back the turn, and I think we got a Collected Company on the way. Yes, we do. So Ache will take a look at the top 6. We'll see if he can find 2 creatures. Pretty likely in this very creature-heavy deck. Voice of Resurgence over there, along with the Tarmogoyf. Doing a check, you got an instant a land, along with a creature in the graveyard, so Tarmogoyf appears to be a 3/4.
But those threats aren't too bad for Logan. Again, with Gavany Township in play, he can really turtle up here and make attacking hard. The card that's threatening from Logan's spot now is Knight of the Reliquary, because there's a lot to be done with that, including getting Kessig Wolf Run. That card pairs very nicely with Exalted and Tarmogoyf and can start threatening a lot of damage, even if Logan starts gumming up the works here with Gavany Township and a lot of blockers.
That's the card that pushes through the damage. But Ake's got to find it. Now, it does appear as though he does have Knight of the Reliquary in hand. And if that's the case, he can find that pretty quickly and start getting to work.
Now, even with Knight of the Reliquary, right now Ake's mana is a little bit constrained. He doesn't have a lot of mana to work with.
Sounds like to me he wouldn't mind drawing some lands here. Looks like Nakado's going to come into the red zone again. It looks like he's getting in with a couple of creatures now. And perhaps Voice of Resurgence too.
Yeah, at this stage of the game, Voice of Resurgence is more powerful dead than alive. So Albert may want to throw that into an attack just to push through some damage.
Yeah, you'd read that elemental token, it's bigger.
Looks like he's happy to have it on defense for the time being, though.
Mize going to sacrifice a Windswept Heath. Now keep in mind, Logan appears to only have one card left in hand at this point. It's an Eternal Witness, so he doesn't have very much going on. The card that he has on the battlefield that matters is that Gavany Township. He's got to make his creatures big, try to stabilize some things until he's able to draw some relevant cards.
Yeah, the tough part here is that Logan has not been in a position just yet to cast a spell and use Gavany Township in the same turn, and those are the types of spots where he really starts pulling ahead.
Well, here are your blockers. Malira in front of the Wild Nacatl. Wall of Roots in front of the Tarmogoyf, and now a Gavany Township activation. Now keep in mind with Wall of Roots, it gives -0, -1 counters, and then Gavany Township gives +1/+1 counters.
So they don't wash?
It's a little strange. I say if Albert can get this Wall of Roots off the table, it makes everyone's life a little easier. He does have a Lightning Bolt in hand. Yeah, there you go. See, now we don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah. Thanks, Albert. So +1/+1 counters wash off -1/-1 counters, but do not wash off -0 -1 counters?
I believe that is the case. Yes.
Gotcha. That is complicated.
A little bit. A little bit. Now here's Knight of the Reliquary. Great start here for Albert.
Yeah, this is an awesome opening here, and Logan is really floundering.
And these green mirrors, you know, it's just give me some big creatures that are efficient and get to work.
Yeah, Albert has done a very good job thus far of not giving Logan much breathing space. You know, he's been pressuring him on a lot of these turns, and like I mentioned, Logan has not been in a position to make plays and activate Township in the same turn, and he's been sort of spinning his tires a little bit as a result.
We know Logan has an Eternal Witness in hand. Outside of that, he does not have very much going on. Looks like he picked up a copy of Quarter Calling. So he's going to play the Witness. Get back Malira. Deploy that, pass the turn back. Now the thing is he can still work his way into the Infinite Combo pretty easily.
Yeah, for sure. Quarter Calling, if he draws a piece, or Collected Company can always rip off two perfect creatures and do it. Given the way the game's going, I don't think he has the luxury of playing around a removal spell. He may have just to say, okay, take all the lumps, hope I don't die, hope there's no removal spell there, your hand's just landing creatures, and then draw into the perfect piece.
Here come the Knuckleheads. Eternal Witness looks like it may block.
The only critical piece of the puzzle here is Malira. That can't be involved in any blocks if Logan's trying to set up Infinite. The thing, though, is he doesn't really want to block on this turn because he has Court of Calling in hand. So every creature represents a mana, and depending on what he draws, he could be very tight on mana.
There's Kasali Pride Mage. Now I'm curious to see how aggressive Logan wants to get in trying to find the pieces to be able to do this because he's certainly under the gun right now. Now the aquarium is going to get a lot bigger. He'd take a draw step here. Slow roll himself a touch.
I mean, if he draws Viscera here, let's say, he's got it.
Yeah, or if he draws Kitchen Finks, he's got it.
Yep.
Either one, because he has Cord in hand. But, you know, the one thing he could have done this turn, for example, is on the upkeep, he could have corded first Seer with the 3 creatures and a land, sacrifice a witness, you know, sacrifice a bird to try to find Kitchen Finks. You know, something like that.
Yeah. And I think Logan here may just try his best to block out of this turn using Wall of Roots, Eternal Witness, Birds of Paradise, and try to set up the line of play that you mentioned. He doesn't really care that much about triggering Voice of Resurgence here because his whole plan is to go infinite. So if Albert gets one more token here, it doesn't really matter because Logan's going to die the following turn regardless. He's going to get overwhelmed.
Albert going to get a Bloodstained Mire. He's going to sacrifice that. This is basically just growing the night.
So the hope here for Logan's side is that he's able to block out of this turn, keep Melira in play, and then probably set up the exchange you're talking about where he cords for Viscera here. He gets a lot of looks at finding the last piece of the puzzle, and either infinite damage or infinite life is good enough to win the game.
Ankle on tap. Take a draw step here. As you mentioned, this is a situation where Logan really can't beat a removal spell.
No, I think Logan's not even playing around at this point because he's already barely holding on to things, and he can't afford to play around Path or Lightning Bolt. He just has to assume that the last card in hand is a land or a creature.
Keswick Wolfrun was the draw. Pretty good one at that. I wouldn't be surprised to see Albert send everybody in except for those Noble Hierarchs. It's a lot of damage coming across.
There's about 10 minutes remaining to sign up for the Modern Challenge. About 10 minutes remaining to sign up for the Modern Challenge. Also, if you have not yet turned in your voucher for the Tassiber playmat, there is still time to do so.
Well, the blocks here to save maximum damage has to be involving getting in front of Tarmogoyf and getting in front of Nyla Reliquary. Those are the 2 largest threats. With Keswick Wolfrun, he can only give trample to one of them. And Birds of Paradise, Eternal Witness, and Wall of Roots are all non-essential elements here. Logan can afford to chump block with all of them. But as you mentioned, I think the most reasonable sequence here is to block however you want to block to chump block, cord for Viscera Seer, sacrifice your chump blockers, and hope to find Red Cap or Kitchen Finks, or failing that, Collected Company, which gives you a lot of looks at either of those 2 cards.
Cord will give you redraws too.
Yeah, and Cord gives you some redraws.
And just by looking at things, you can tell Logan gets a lot of looks at it.
Yeah.
To try to go infinite.
And he doesn't have to care, again, about triggering the voice, because you can tell from this block, if Logan doesn't get it done this turn, it doesn't matter that there's another elemental in play. Logan's getting overwhelmed here. He doesn't have that much life to work with.
Yeah, he just can't die here.
Yeah.
That's all. Because he's dead next turn. Or you can, if you're Logan, I think you can safely assume, okay, I'm dead next turn. But the only thing that doesn't get to block here is Melira. That can't happen. And keep in mind the Wolfrun activation would be for 3. Or excuse me, it'd be for 2. Be for 2.
And it looks like Ake is just passing.
He's not making a move. Logan needs to with that cord.
Yeah, he's costing himself a couple looks at it. Now, the problem is, with Ake passing on the Wolf Run, if Logan goes and sacrifices everything to Viscera Seer, then he can give one of the blocked creatures trample and deal a lot of damage. I don't know if it actually changes the calculus here at all. Logan might be dead next turn, regardless of what happens. But depending on the specific size of the creature, how much mana Ake has available, and so on, sacrificing the creatures could become problematic here.
Elemental token here for Voice of Resurgence, but as we mentioned, we don't feel that one matters too much. There's Viscera Seer. It seems as though Logan knows the plan here.
And because Ake only has the one Wolf Run to give trample, if Logan sacrifices one of the creatures, he might as well sacrifice the second.
Yeah, I think so.
It's free. It's either sacrifice neither to keep yourself alive, or sacrifice both if you can survive the Wolf Run activation.
Two-headed giant players, your pairings for round 3 are being posted.
Take a look.
Once again, two-headed giant round 3
Bottoms up.
pairings.
Not happy. Sack this one too. Now he's got to be careful here.
Well, again, once you sacrifice one, you can sacrifice all of them. They're all blocked. Only one of them's getting trampled.
Very true, very true. That's not it. That.
I mean, if it's on, I suppose Collected Company is probably too good to pass up.
Yep.
But if Logan's keeping on top, it's probably a kill.
Yep. Quarter calling. Go get kitchen. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Yeah, you can just get red cap there.
Yeah.
Red cap Finks doesn't matter. Yep. He'll show him. Yeah. And Albert wants to see it, as he should. Show me red cap. Show me Finks. Either one. There's Finks. Just go infinite.
And all that can do is deal damage. He has no workaround to this.
And he's going to concede the game. So, Logan Mize sequences things appropriately, gets a little bit lucky, and he does win game number one, over Albert Ake. Cobb's on Company, up a game over Naya Company.
To Logan's credit there, he identified what he had to do there.
Yep.
I mean, there was no way for him to manage the game by blocking and removal spells anymore. And once that became clear, he flipped into just assemble the combo, keep myself alive as long as possible, gave himself the most looks at it as possible, was able to assemble infinite life, and we're on to game 2.
He's always going to have that advantage in the matchup, that he has the combo that he can go to, and Albert does not.
Yeah, I mean, when you're looking at threats like Smiter and Nikadal, they're good when Ake is leveraging his explosive, aggressive draws, but when the game slows down, that infinite combo is just something that Albert can't really respond to.
Well, to the sideboards we're going to go. We are going to start with Ake, who's got 2 Stony Silence, a Kataki War's Wage, 2 Choke, 2 Thalia Guardian, 3 Thraben, a Scavenging Ooze, an Ethersworn Canist, 4 Feed the Clans, a Magus of the Moon, and a Blood Moon. Scavenging Ooze is the obvious one.
Yeah, Scavenging Ooze is very good in the matchup, breaks up Eternal Witness. There's a lot of graveyard shenanigans going on in Logan's deck. I think the Blood Moon effects are also fine here. They're not necessarily going to lock Logan out. He does have a lot of mana creatures, but you look at the mana base, it's tight. He needs to get a lot of non-basic lands. And I think the Blood Moon effects have the possibility of stealing something.
The other side of things, we'll take a look at Logan Mize's sideboard.
4 Path to Exile, 4 Voice of Resurgence, a Tassiger, and even Mind Sensor, and Orza of Pontiff, a Bird of Forge Tender, a Scavenging Ooze, a Limbala, and an Eidolon of Rhetoric. I think the sideboarding here is going to be pretty light. I think Forge Tender is okay in the matchup, as is Scavenging Ooze. I like 4 copies of Path to Exile a lot as well. The rest of the utility creatures I wouldn't really touch.
Well, we have talked about the Star City Games Summer Sale a couple times this weekend, and we got our brand new one going right now. You can save on select non-basic lands, like a Breeding Pool, Sacred Foundry, or Wooded Foothills, or heck, even a Steam Vent.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a lot of the non-basic lands we've been featuring over the course of the week on like Fetch lands and Ravnica Dual lands. They're available on sale right now, along with a variety of other non-basic lands.
We got a new sale every day at 11 a.m. on the website, all August long. Standard favorites, as you'll see, on sale all month long as well. StarCityGames.com/more information about the fantastic summer sale that is currently taking place as we do get ready here for game numero dos. Logan Mize able to get there.
I might have gotten burned. I recently purchased some Guild Pack Stomping Grounds.
Tisk tisk.
Gonna have to look.
You like the old ones.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I know. New one's got good art.
I'm fine with it, but it's also just, when you compare it to Legacy, for example, you want to get beta duels or black border duels or alpha and beta cards, the cost increase is pretty significant. You're looking at, Return to Ravnica Stomping Grounds versus the old Ravnica Stomping Grounds. The price difference is negligible.
That's true. Look at Mize have another good tournament here.
Less so on the foils, though. The old foils worth quite a bit more, but yeah, foils is not my thing, so it's fine.
So for me, if it's foils, it's either all foils or no foils.
Yeah.
I'm no in between. I've played all foil decks before, but I'm not going to play, like halvesies.
I just don't like the way they feel.
They do feel different.
They're a lot stiffer.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
They need to be double sleeve too. And I don't like playing double sleeve decks because they're enormous. It's weird that, playing they're both 60 cards, but one's double sleeved and one's not, and it feels different when you just play a 60 card non-double sleeve deck. Mm-hmm. You're just used to how it feels in your hands and how big it is. When you have a double sleeved one, you're like, this thing is, what's this, 200 cards? It feels gigantic. It's very strange. But it doesn't come up that much anymore since, you know, we're in the booth.
Yeah.
We don't get to play very much anymore.
Though my deck is out on the floor right now, but no foils in it.
I expect as much. Any mountains in that deck? You got like one?
Got a Guru Mountain in there, some Beta Bolts.
You have a Guru Mountain?
I have a couple, yeah.
You can just retire, jeez.
No, I mean, you know, living in LA is pretty expensive. I could only live off of Guru lands for so long.
I don't know. Pay for rent, eat in and out, you're good.
Not run for very long.
Gonna get ready for game number 2 here between Logan Mize and Albert Ake. The Collected Company decks have shown up a little bit here. We've seen a lot of Grixis Control, some Fringe combo decks. Haven't seen a lot of Collected Companies be cast, but both of these players, the opportunity to make top 8 here. Again, Albert Ake is a lock no matter what happens. He's the number 2 overall seed right now. He's in 2nd place in the tournament. And then for Mize, he's got to win to get in. If he loses, no good. And they can't draw because Logan 11-3-1 doesn't appear to be making it. Looks like all of our X and 3s are playing. Now, 2 players that we know are locked in are Tom Ross and Michael Majors. Ross, of course, with Infect. Majors with Grixis Control with 4 copies of Jace Vryn's Prodigy.
And a lot banging on this match for other people. You know, Albert knocks out Logan, and all of a sudden there's a slot that's opened up for one of the people at the end of the X3 records on Breakers. Maybe even an X3-1 can slip in as a result. If Logan is to win here, it's really bad news for other people who are playing towards the bottom of the X3 standings.
Ryan Thompson and Gabe Gallagher, please report to the stage.
Ake will start things off with a basic forest into a noble hierarch. Mize with a verdant catacombs. He'll sacrifice that, go down at least 19, maybe more.
And Magus of the Moon already in Albert's hand.
Please report to your match.
This could be in a really explosive opening here.
Report to your match.
Logan just searching. He kind of shortcutted himself into this to like save time or something.
Yep.
This could be a disaster
This is some not great news.
because he didn't do anything on turn 1.
Is there some anti-searching effect? Maybe he's playing around a mind sensor?
Potentially because it's Naya colors.
Yeah, that's my best guess. I doubt he was just shortcutting, but Magus of the Moon is not what he wants to see after doing that.
Not really. There's another noble hierarch.
Report to the stage. Gabe Gallagher.
Here's an attack for 4 exalted. All right, he's got an answer in Path to Exile. That could have gotten awkward fast.
Only 1 planes in the deck for Logan. Very fortunate to have drawn it there.
Yes. See if Ake has a follow-up. Got a Dromoka's command in hand. He'll play a land for the turn. Because he has not played a land yet.
Yeah, turn 2 Magus and then got Path.
Yep. So there's Bloodstained Mire. And now there's a Wild Nicottle. And now we go back Mize's way. Does he have land number 3 is the question.
This is the last call to sign up for today's Modern Challenge. Last call to sign up for the Modern Challenge.
Ake is very light on action from here, though. I believe he just has Dromoka's command and lands.
Oh, there's Malira. Ake will sacrifice the Bloodstained Mire. That might be the Sacred Foundry. Ake has decided he'll go with the Stomping Ground instead. I feel like I say this a lot, but Collected Company, best draw here for Albert, it seems.
Yeah. I mean, the deck can get some explosive draws, and then Knight of the Reliquary plus Collected Company is its staying power.
Here comes Nicottle. 2 Exalted Trigger. That thing's a 5/5. Mize does have another copy of Path to Exile in hand. Maybe he wants to fire it off here. Looks like he does.
This is also, you know, kind of a study of contrast here. I think we're going to see Dromoka's command and response. when Logan passed Albert, it feels like Albert has very little to do with the mana. When Albert passed Logan, it feels like Logan, other elements of Logan's hand start getting unlocked.
Path to Exile will resolve. Such Mocha's command. Nikado fought Malira, and the Noble Hire got a counter. Eternal Witness to draw for Logan. However, you can see his mana. There's a bit of an issue here. There's a Gavany Township. Double green is not here. However, Mize does have a copy of Collected Company in hand.
Kitchen Finks as well.
All is not lost. He's actually got some things to do. Aka's going to untap. No Collected Company to cast. He just draws a card. Looks like he picked up a copy of Loxodon Smiter. Having big creatures is certainly nice, but Smiter does not have a lot of text in this matchup.
Yeah, I actually would have assumed that card was removed from his deck.
Here comes Noble Hierarch. It'll be a 3/4. But for now, Mize is going to cast Collected Company.
It looks like he may have the combo close to rolled up here. He's looking at some combo pieces plus has Cord in hand. Now, of course, there's the issue of what happens if Albert has a removal spell.
Round 6. You have 50 minutes.
But
You may begin.
Viscera Seer and Redcap are in there. However, remember, you can't get Redcap off of Collected Company. It's got to be 3 or less.
Yep.
Otherwise, we'd just be hitting Emrakul's with Collected Company.
But this is a great Eternal Witness here for Logan, as there's multiple good paths to take. If he's got the combo rolled up, he can take Malira if that's the piece he's missing. Path if he needs to defend himself, or Collected Company if he wants to just continue to play this value game.
Looks like he wants Path to Exile. He wants an answer to some creatures. Eternal Witness is going to be on chump blocking duty. He'll block and now he'll scry. Take a look at the hand before he moves forward. Staying on top. There's the big dumb elephant.
Thud.
Nake will pass the turn back. Path to Exile in hand. Mize has one too. Just picked up a copy of Temple Guard. That's the second green mana he needed. Looks like everything might be online here for Logan now. Kitchen Finks. There'll be a trigger. Life will be gained. One piece away from the combo. Temple Guard on the battlefield tapped.
And Cord in hand.
Yep.
Can't do it just yet, but
You can see it's not that hard to assemble. Lightning Bolt the draw.
huge draw
Yeah.
for Albert.
He needs ways to interact. He's got a path in hand too. He's going to start with Lightning Bolt going out to Viscera here. Logan will sacrifice that. Little scry action here.
But this is what, we talked about this a little bit before, where, Logan can ugly up the game and not necessarily have to combo off to win. So Albert has to leave removal in his hand to be able to bring up the combo should it show up, but also be able to fight on the board.
There's Path to Exile. I mean, one thing you can note from this game, you mentioned uglying it up. Look at Logan's life total.
Yeah, he's got a lot to work with.
21. We're in the mid game here. We're working our way towards the late game. Attack for 5 right now. Not so bad.
Though I believe this is worse than just having attacked with the Smiter solo. I don't know if he's playing around something like Murderous Cut, but feels like the 2 Exalted triggers are better than dealing 1 with the Noble Hierarch.
So might as well try to rebuild towards the combo again. Eternal Witness in hand. Looks like 2 quarter callings. Pretty good grip. He's going to set up for a core. Does have triple green out there.
Yeah, I mean, this could be something like Cord into Finks, untap, and combo out.
Yep, doesn't take much. Here comes the elephant. Looks like a Path to Exile here. No land to search up here for Albert. 2 forests, 1 plains, 1 mountain. He's got them all on the battlefield already. Tarmogoyf is the play. Will Mize play Collected Company right now? He can company for 2. The answer is yes.
Yep. This allows him to get Melira if he wants it.
Yeah, that or Inoffensive.
Yeah, either's fine.
Yep. I'm going to go with Inoffensive, Kintree Spirit.
Yeah, Inoffensive is probably a little bit better here than Melira because in the event Albert has some interaction, Melira kind of doesn't do anything unless you're comboing out, where Inoffensive has a text box.
Yeah, there's some bolster is a text box. Yeah. Doesn't play a huge role, but it's
better than nothing.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. Godless Shrine the draw. Might be Eternal Witness time. Looks like it is. Gonna get back Collected Company. Take you right into Value Village. Godless Shrine untapped.
And I really like the way that Logan's playing this because he could just try to rip off the combo if he wanted to. He has the tools to do it. But what he's doing is, I'm just going to generate a lot of value in case you have a removal spell in your hand. Eventually, I'm going to get to the combo, or the ground's going to get so mucked up that you can't attack and I can beat you with Gavany Township instead. So this is a very good way of, incidentally assembling the combo without risking too much in the event that Albert has a removal spell.
Yeah, it's got to be frustrating for Albert because he just really can't punch through. Kazakh Wolfrun is a really nice draw here to start being able to punch through his real amount of damage. And this Tarmogoyf right now is a 5-power creature because of double exalted. But Logan's making life pretty tough here. Here's Collected Company.
Now he's found a Spellskite, which is just perfect.
Yeah, that bricks the...
Right.
That bricks the Kazakh Wolfrun activation.
The before blocks get a Spellskite. Now it's in play. There's no opportunity to respawn. Collected Company just resolves and the creature's in play.
There's some bolster triggers here to be had too, because Inoffensive. This is what you were talking about with having more of a relevant text box than Melira. And Logan already has Gavany Township on the battlefield, so maybe we go a different way. Eternal Witness is going to jump in front of Tarmogoyf. There's a Kazakh Wolfrun activation. I want to send that to Spellskite. Yeah, I'll take 2.
And now Logan can just go for it if he wants to because he has Spellskite protection.
Yeah. And you see him moving a little bit faster now. Drew a copy of Kitchen Finks, so he'll gain 2. There'll be a bolster trigger. Here's Court of Calling. It'll be for 1, and that's going to do it. Logan Mize is going to win this match here over Albert Ake. 2-0. Obzon Company going to take care of Nye Company. You see the way those games play out. I think it's going to happen like that more often than not. Feels very favorable for Obzon.
Yeah, I mean, Albert's got some game, and his draws are going to be more consistently explosive than Logan's, who has some more cumbersome cards in his deck. But once the game gets ugly, it's hard for Albert to attack, and Logan is always threatening to be able to go off at a moment's notice. He can assemble an infinite combo from very low base. Both pieces of the infinite combo, be it life gain or damage, are good against Albert. And once Logan slows the game down, it feels like it's a really uphill battle for Albert. We saw that definitely on display in game 1, where Albert had a lot of good stuff going on and still couldn't quite punch through lethal. And then game 2, just wasn't able to mount enough of an offense before Logan started uglying up the game.